For decades now, the scientific community, the American public for the most part, our leaders in Washington, D.C., they have all known the threat that climate change poses. Since at least the year 2006, the United States Pentagon has consistently listed climate change as the biggest threat to us here in the United States. It is a global destabilizing force, according to the Pentagon. And here's the thing. There's a reason we as a country have taken no meaningful action to address climate change. And it is because the people who are most responsible for this, those 100 companies, they've done a really good job of spending, at this point, billions of dollars over the decades to hide their own internal science showing us that climate change is real, and two, to mislead the public about the dangers, and three, to fund politicians who go out there and do nothing about climate change other than lie about it. There's a new scientific report that came out this week called America Misled: How the Fossil Fuel Industry Deliberately Misled Americans About Climate Change. It was conducted or put together by scientists from Harvard, George Mason University, and the University of Bristol in the UK. So we've got international cooperation on this scientific study that explicitly lays out how the fossil fuel industry misled the American public. So far, I know we've had a lot of wonderful climate scientists out there who have been fighting back against the fossil fuel industry very publicly. We have Michael Mann, Katherine Hayhoe, two of the greats here in the United States, absolutely helping to lead the charge on this issue and to expose the industry's roles. And this paper builds on all of that. And here are the top 5 takeaways. According to EcoWatch, there's a link in the description of this video to EcoWatch. I encourage everybody, please go read this. It is important. Now, I always do climate change videos. I do a couple a week. They never perform very well, which is very disappointing, not because I'm desperate for views, but because this is the biggest issue. And I'm sorry to have to say this, folks, but this is kind of something you have to care about. Top 5 takeaways according to EcoWatch. Internal corporate documents show that the fossil fuel industry has known about human-caused climate change for decades. Its response was to actively arrange and fund denial and disinformation to suppress action and protect its status quo business operations. Number 2. As the scientific consensus on climate change emerged and strengthened, the industry and its political allies attacked the consensus and exaggerated the uncertainties. Number 3, the fossil fuel industry offered no consistent alternative explanation for why the climate was changing. The goal was merely to undermine support for action. Number 4, the strategy, tactics, infrastructure, and rhetorical arguments and techniques used by fossil fuel interests to challenge the scientific evidence of climate change, including cherry-picking, fake experts, and conspiracy theories, come straight out of the tobacco industry's playbook for delaying tobacco control. And number 5, informing the public about how these arguments are deceptive not only begins to correct the misconceptions, but also will make it harder for future campaigns to use these misleading tactics to confuse the public. That part's a call to action, folks. That's us. And I don't just mean those of us here at Ring of Fire. We cannot do this on our own. It's everybody in progressive media. And I'm going to call y'all out right now. I'm sorry. You're all my friends. I love you all very dearly, my fellow progressive media hosts. Y'all don't talk enough about climate change. You don't. Tom Hartman does. I mean, Tom Hartman talks about climate change more than I do. Everybody else, not enough. And unfortunately, it is because, you know, we rely on the views and the ad money and the subscribers as salary. I mean, that's how these people survive. And when you do climate change videos, and this part's on you folks watching this, y'all don't tune in as much. You know, you'd rather me sit here and talk about a stupid thing Trump tweeted than talk about the biggest issue facing humanity. Let's be honest about that. We all have to be better. I have to be better. My fellow progressive hosts have to talk about this more. And you, the viewers, you've got to pay attention to this. You have to share these videos. You have to get involved. We have to hold those in power accountable, and we have to demand with our vote that our politicians take this issue seriously. Because as scientists have warned us, we have plenty of time to take action, but the clock is running down.